for any obibiara washemi aha Ghanatube so me mamo akwaba matna saying any na just nsem no bebre egu a etwem for intempas no mensem no me pese ubedi mechi na yawabotie nsem bia ekoso e wo Ghana na yaba.
The back page of the Ghanaian Times, 10-member task force for new national airline inaugurated.
So you're going to get a new national airline?
Yeah, I don't know. So it says that.
Okay, maybe after their feasibility they'll say, oh, we shouldn't do it, we should do it. So this doesn't mean we are getting a new national airline, does it?
It doesn't amount to that.
But it would be nice to have a new national airline, you know.
Hopefully we don't use it for restaurants.
You know, Americans have astronauts who go to space. The Russians have cosmonauts. If we also go to space, you have groundnuts or Ghana nuts, and then you have a national airline, which also ensures that the after thing is. It would be nice, Kojo. A national airline.
Think that would be nice.
Do you know what I think we should invest in?
Why are you looking at me like that?
No,
you don't agree we should have a national airline?
A national cargo airline, maybe.
Okay, but not a passenger airline.
No.
Then Emirates and all the other airlines will make money from the Black Star Experience and Dirty December, and Ghana will just lose out.
But we will lose out anyway.
We have an airport that has a capacity for 5 million passengers.
We will lose out anyway.
Let's cash in on that capacity.
If we create a national airline, I'm sorry, but we don't learn from our mistakes. We don't.
But the cargo they will learn.
Look, let me tell you something. If we are really going to throw money into buying aircraft to put our logo on it because we want to have a national airline, then you at least let's buy the aircraft and apply it to logistics.
Okay.
Because if we use it to carry people, I'm sorry, but the same thing we did, we'll do it again because we don't learn. We don't learn from our mistakes. That's the one thing that we are consistent on as a nation. We don't learn now, and we have state-owned enterprise. Look, if the thing is supposed to provide a service that humans benefit from directly, you best say no. You best say no. Me, I even the cargo crew, I'm not so sure, but at least
the revenue maybe.
You know.
But how about having a national shipping line?
I've been saying it for
because
ages.
if you want to ship from Ghana to even some of our West African countries, sometimes, in fact most times, your shipment must go to Europe or some other place before it comes back. The Black Star line that existed is no more.
I think we should let the private sector do these things. Even the national airline. The more I think about it, even the cargo idea that I mentioned, let the private sector do it. Let some Ghanaian set up an airline. Right, let's give him the whatever.
Let's deliberately support someone.
Yes. The money still comes to us. Yes, we still benefit from the Black Star, but let it be a private person doing it.
Okay,
let it be. Let's not get government involved in this kind of business again. I mean, we don't learn, so let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Kojo, can I bring some headlines from my Joe Online? 24-hour economy policy showing strong progress in first 120 days. Dubois memo claims NSB spent 8.3 million Ghana cedis on opposition party ahead of 2024. Deloitte to submit National Cathedral audit report this month. This is according to President Mahama. And Justice Atuguba has been speaking. And he said a lot of things, including the fact that he says GBA finds his voice when NDC is in office, and a lot of other things. Would you have something for us on that?
Indeed, a little bit of what the retired justice had to say.
How were they when they were in office? How did they perform? Transparently, neutrally, in the interest of the people? Did they do that? What? This is the kind of thing I just hate. Pure hypocrisy. Now look at the empanelments and see if that panel had not been reconstituted. You think it would have come through too? I mean, for how long have you not had unanimous until?
Here's one more.
How were they when they were in office? How did they perform? Transparently, neutrally, in the interest of the people? Did they do that? What? This is the kind of thing I just hate. Pure hypocrisy. Now look at the empanelments and see if that panel had not been reconstituted. You think it would have come through too? I mean, for how long have you not had unanimous until?
Yeah. So that's what the retired judge had to say. And there are some who consider it quite a bombshell to hear a recently retired judge state quite clearly that politics is alive and well in the Supreme Court. But is it? Is it news? Did we not have an academic do a specific job? Is there one more?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, forgive me. There's one more. Here. One more from Justice Atuba.
At the time of the unanimous FC, what was happening? Bafuboni, Kulendi, Kwaman, Tanko. These were fairly senior judges. How often did they get onto constitutional panels? How often? Why was it so? Were they not members of the Supreme Court? Were they not seniors? And that token. And you see the trend. Let's put pretense aside. Let's look at what is good for Ghana and get that done.
At the court, for example, in a matter that the Member of Parliament for Otafo brought before the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Even before they went into the injunction application, his lawyer, former Attorney General Gov't, had raised issues about the presiding judge, the acting CJ, sitting on the panel, and makes the point that the acting CJ taking part in that decision, obviously on the background that he is a beneficiary of the vacancy created by the absence of the Chief Justice, and for that reason it was not going to be fair in terms of the determination of the application he had put before the court. You think he didn't have a case? And that matter was dismissed unanimously anyway.
Well, before her suspension, when this challenge came, when the process was commenced for her removal, Gov't Dame and others brought suits, injunction. Who empaneled?
The suspended Chief Justice.
She had no interest in her own matter. Empaneling involves picking and choosing
who to sit.
Yes. And you think she had no interest in that?
Okay, so back to the main point that the retired justice says there's politics in the Supreme Court. Everyone is scandalized. You hear, I listened to Frank Davis actually on Top Story last night, vehemently rejecting the idea. But is it news, first of all? I think it was Prof. Atuguba who did an academic work on the trend of the decisions of Supreme Court judges. I think he included Justice Atuguba in that work. It was roundly rejected. I think the Chief Justice at the time was Sophia Akufu. Roundly rejected. In fact, he was condemned for even attempting to do this job. But the point of his work was that there is political the justices of the Supreme Court have political influence. They are influenced politically. Who isn't, to be fair? Now we hear it again from someone who just left the bench. So at what point are we going to take our heads out of the sand and admit that every arm of government is politicized? That's politics, isn't it?
Of course. I cannot really understand how we want governance without politics anyway, because by the true nature of it, we elect them into power through politics, and it really lives with you even in the decision making. One of the things that he said actually that has my attention is also on the GBA, saying that as an association they are also quite political. Why he finds them only finding their voice when a particular party is in power. He actually referenced the ex-president J. Akufo, that the GBA went mute at his era, and suddenly they find their voice only when the NDC is in power. I like to think that there's a bit of politics in nearly everything that we do. especially in governance. But when you do a test, it is how much politics you find during that governance that maybe we'll be discussing. And it's interesting to see that the justice is actually referencing it.
The offense, for want of a better word, is not that the judges have political leaning. The offense would arise if judges allow their political leanings to override their execution of justice.
Right.
That's when we would have a problem. Right? That's when we would have a problem. In any case, this is another reason why we really need to decouple the executive's influence over the judiciary. I mean, we need to work hard to achieve that. There should be no influence of the executive over the judiciary. Otherwise, it makes their presence as an arm of government moot. We can't have that. That kind of defeats the purpose of democracy, does it not? All right, okay.
You are here for an for me. I must pass and would image in your cotier and summer. On my gun one day, and I will can't find some for comments. No, have a comment section. Now making Kayamo Ghanatube Sunny or Duffo Snowy and Sunny. I was for Cecilia Macram.